Welcome back, guys, to the YouTube channel of Aptitech Education. And today, since we already know the greatest announcement has been done, that is the TCS NQT National Qualified Test is back, and it is supposed to be next month, that is in the month of February. So now it's high time that we start preparing for all the things that we're supposed to do, and let's keep our preparations very on point. So let's just not go on preparing everything at this particular point and do only those things which are going to be very important. So at this point, it is going to be of no use if you keep on learning all the topics. You should go for a test based preparation right now. That is, start giving as many tests as possible, do previous year question papers and progress in that particular way, which is why I have made this today's video based on what questions had come up in previous years that were given by TCS in different sets, and I have picked up questions from there and you put it in this particular video. So the topic that I'm going to pick up right now is numerical ability. Numerical ability, when you talk about TCS NQT, you are going to have 26 questions of numerical ability. Very simple 26 questions are going to come up, and you'll have to sort out those questions. Each question you're going to have approximately 1.5 minutes only. So within that 1.5 minutes, you'll have to read the question, form the concept, and move forward. Give the answers also. That is, you have to be very accurate and you'll have to have a very good speed while solving the questions. Which is why it's suggested that you do not go by the conventional method, but you go by the shortcut methods for every question so that you can do the question in as short period of time as possible. Save the time also, be accurate also, so that at some questions where it can be very difficult to solve these questions, you'll have some time to think about it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we can do these questions very quickly in particular time period and with accuracy as well. If we talk about the overall difficulty level, the difficulty level is going to be moderate. That is, some questions are going to be easy, some questions are going to be trick based, some questions could be solved using some time that I'm going to save from those questions which are going to be easier for us. So overall difficulty level, we're considering it to be moderate. So let's go to the questions that had come up in previous years. First question is, Velan and Karan together can build a bridge in 5 hours. Karan works twice as long as Velan does if he has to do the job alone. How long will it take for Velan to complete the job alone? Now you can see this is a simple question that's based on time and work. Time and work is a very important concept that comes up in TCS every year. So it's a very important concept. Let's say that the time that's taken by, because one line that is given to us is Karan works twice as long as Velan does. So let the time that is taken by Valen, let it be X hours. So for Karan, it is going to be 2X hours. So in X hours, Valen would have done his work completely, whereas Karan would have done his work completely 2X in 2X time. Okay. So if they're going to complete it in 2X time, 1 hour, Karan, Valen would have done 1 by X of the work, whereas Karan would have completed it in 1 by 2X of the work. So 1 by 2X of the work would have been done in 1 hour. This is the total time these people are doing. So it is given that they can build a bridge together in 5 hours. One very important concept of time and work is total work is always equal to 1. So as much work you might be doing, you will always have to make it equal to 1. So in 5 hours, they're doing the task completely. So in 5 hours, if in 1 hour they're working together, they're doing 1 by X of the work plus 1 by 2X of the work. They're doing this way for 5 hours and they're completing the task. That is, they're doing one full task. How long will it take for Velen to complete the job? Basically, I'll just have to find the value of this X. Let's solve this fraction. So 5 into, when you do this, this comes out to be 2 plus 1, that's 3 upon 2x is equals to 1. That is, the value of your 2x is equals to 15. X comes out to be 15 by 2, that is 7.5 hours. So the time in which Valen would complete the job if he's doing it alone comes out to be 7.5 hours. My answer is option B. Next one. If it takes 10 3D printers to print 10 minutes and 10 models, find the time taken by 100 printers to print 100 models. Now, as soon as this question come up, some students think that this is a question from analogy. Then they say that 10 printers, 10 minutes, 10 models. So accordingly, it should be 100 printers, 100 minutes, and 100 models. This is not the case at all. And to confuse you, they have already given you the answer as B, that is 100 minutes. This is not the case at all. This is a concept of man days. you'll have to use the formula that is MDH divided by W, that is number of men, into the days for which they are working, into hours for which they're working, divided by the work that they're doing. It is equals to a constant. And you'll have to apply it for as many groups that it is given to us. So let's talk about the first M. So M1 D1 H1 by W1 is equals to M2 D2 H2 by W2. That is what I'm going to do here. M1, number of men. First number of men, it is if it takes 10 3D printers. So 10 into number of days. So days it is not given, you can omit out because both the side they're not giving days. Let's talk about just H1 only. H1 is time. Time is 10 minutes. Work that they're doing is they're printing 10 models divided by 10 is equals to M2, 100 machines. 100 models, that is the work that they have to do is 100. Let's say the time they're taking is H. Find the value of H. So you can find out from here that your value of H, that is the time, directly comes out to be 10 minutes. So my answer is that it takes 10 minutes for 100 printers to make 100 models. My answer is option A, that is 10 minutes. It's not B, it's not an analogy question, it's a man-days concept question. My answer is option A, that's 10 minutes. Let's do the next one. So tempo of length 4 meter wants to overtake a garage truck of length 20 meters traveling at a speed of 36 kilometers per hour within 10 seconds. What should be the speed of tempo to do so? So let's say that the speed of tempo, let it be T. So I'm taking speed of tempo to be T only. 36 kilometers per hour, let's make it the first thing that I have to do. Let's convert this 36 kilometers per hour into meter per second, because the biggest mistake that is done by students is they directly take it in the same way and they get wrong answers. I cannot use 36 kilometers per hour directly because every dimension that is given here, it's in meters and seconds. So make kilometer per hour into meter per second, or you convert all these meters into kilometers and this second into hours. So that is going to be very tricky. Let's make kilometers per hour into meter per second only. So 36 into 5 by 18 becomes 10 meter per second. That is the speed of the garbage truck. So now these two are traveling in the same direction. How do I make that out? Because the tempo has to overtake the garbage truck. Overtaking means if this is my garbage truck, tempo is going to come behind it and they both are going to move in the same direction. Whenever two objects move in the same direction, your speed is always V1, difference V2, that is whichever is greater, you subtract the smaller from that one. So since it is said the tempo is going to overtake, that means T is going to be greater than the speed of the truck, that is 10 kilometers per hour, 10 meter per second. So my average speed or my relative speed becomes T minus 10, and overall it's meter per second. Okay, so I have the relative speed also. Concept of relative speed comes into play. I have the time also. So time designated is 10 seconds only. And the distance. Now it's very important to consider the distance. Distance here is tempo has to cover its own length, that is 4 meter, plus it has to cover the length of the garbage truck also, that is 20 meters. So overall the distance that it has to cover is 24 meters. Okay, now we have to find out what should be the speed. So speed is equals to distance upon time. Okay, I'm going to take it as time is equals to distance upon speed, because I have a direct value of time. So time is 10. So 10 is equals to distance. Distance is 24. Divide by speed. Speed is T minus 10. I already took the value of T. And speed, we are going to use relative speed because it is a case of overtaking. So when you will solve this, so 10T minus 100 is equals to 24. Your value of T comes out to be 10T is equals to 124. T comes out to be 12.4 meter per second. That is, the speed of the tempo should be 12.4 meter per second. Yes, I have that as the answer. My answer becomes option B. Relative speed and distance consideration were the only two important things. Next one. What is the last digit of the number? Number is 3 raised to power 5 raised to power 7 raised to power 9 plus 1. Common sense says I'm not going to sort out this whole thing and get the answer, do the expansion, do plus 1 and get the answer. That is what my common sense is saying. But my logic is going to say that whatever the power of 3 has to be, it would be somewhat related to 5 raised to power 7 raised to power 9. One advantage that I have from here, by the concept of number systems and the last digit concept, I know one thing, that if it is 5 raised to power anything, the unit space or whatever would be the unit space, it would come out to be 5 only. That means whatever this expansion is, its unit space would be 5 only. So basically, whatever this number would be, it will have the unit space as 5 itself. So 5 raised 3 raised to power 5 raised to power 7 raised to power 9 overall reduces to just 3 raised to power 5. Whatever this would be, that is not going to be my concern. All right. Because I'll have to split it into format of whenever I have to find the unit space of 3 raised to power anything, I split this powers into format of 4n plus 1 because the cyclicity of 3 is 4. Okay. So whatever this number would come out to be, it would be something that is number, maybe a 3-digit number, 4-digit number having unit space as 5. It would always be in the format of 4n plus 1. So I'm going to take it directly as 3 raised to power 5 becomes 4n plus 1, that is 4 plus 1. These 4 complete cycles are not my concern. My concern is just 3 raised to power 1. So unit space of 3 raised to power 5 raised to power 7 raised to power 9 comes out to be directly 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. That is the last digit or the unit space in the expansion of 3 raised to power 5 raised to power 7 raised to power 9 plus 1 is 4. Yes, I have 4. My answer becomes option C, that is 4. Or another thing that I could have done is wherever there is 3 raised to power anything, your answer is always an odd number. So if it is 3 raised to power anything, my answer would always be an odd number. Odd number plus 1 would have to give me an even number. When you look at the options, there is only one even number, that is 4. So that way also it clarifies that my answer is going to be option C, that is 4. But if there were more than one even numbers, I would go by the concept. And it's always preferred to go by the concept only. My answer is option C, that is 4. Let's do the next one. So in a game, there are 70 people in which 40 are boys and 30 are girls, out of which 10 people are selected at random. One from the total group thus is selected as a leader at random. So there is selection and you have to select a leader also. What is the probability that the person chosen at random is a boy? Okay, so I have to find out that the person chosen at random, he has to be a boy. Now what people will start doing, so they see 70, they see 10, so they will start doing 70 10 C, then they will do 40 10 C, 40 C 10, they'll do 30 C 10, they'll use all the cases and they'll just get caught into all these cases. Do not go into all these selections and cases and final number of arrangements. Do not go into all of that. I'll tell you a simple way. So there are 40 boys and 30 girls. That means at any point the ratio of people, if I talk about, it is 4:3. The ratio of people that I have is 4:3. So if some people are selected at random from the group, expected ratio of that, expected ratio of selection is also going to be 4:3. If any person is selected at random, except expected ratio is also going to be 4:3. So leader selected, it has to be a boy. If I look at this ratio, so boys to girl ratio is 4:3. For selection also it is 4:3. That means for a boy, probability, if out of this selection I talk about, it directly becomes 4 divided by 4 plus 3, that is 4 by 7. So if out of a group of 70 people, out of which 40 are boys and 30 are girls, even if 10 people are selected, the probability that the leader selected is a boy, it's 4 by 7. My answer is option A, that is 4 by 7. Very simply, see the selection ratio of boy and girl, see the people ratio of boy and girl, both of it is same. That means if you're selecting a boy, it is going to be 4 divided by 4 plus 3 only. My answer would be A, that's 4 by 7. Let's go for the next one.